Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to do a slow smoked jerk chicken. And to start with, I'm going to make the jerk marinade. And seems like a lot of ingredients, but it's really simple. Everything just goes into the blender. Now, for a jerk marinade, there are some very simple things that you absolutely have to have in order to call it a jerk marinade or a jerk sauce or jerk seasoning or any of those things. But once you sort of get out of those first 4 or 5 ingredients, every family, every cook, every chef is going to add their own little bit of flavor to it. They're going to make it their way. They're going to have a recipe that speaks to their family tradition. And I'm no different. I make this over and over and over and over again, and every time I make it, I change it a little bit to see if, those tweaks will make a difference to the flavor. And today I'm going to be substituting a couple of ingredients because I don't have what I would normally have. Since this is a jerk seasoning, you absolutely must have a Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm only going to use one today because I would like some flavor over absolute heat. Next ingredient that you have to have are scallions. So in they go. And the scallions I'm using aren't actually Jamaican scallions. These are green onions or spring onions. They go by a whole bunch of different names. A true Jamaican scallion has sort of a purple color on the base. It's not fully purple, but it has sort of a purple skin. Slightly different flavor. But these are some of the concessions that you need to make because you're not in Jamaica. So there's a grocery store close to us called Blue Sky, and they normally have Jamaican scallions. Went there this morning. They didn't have any, so we're using green onions. This is a very common substitution. And for the most part, there's so much flavor going on here. Not a lot of people are really going to notice. So in that goes. Next thing you absolutely have to have is allspice. And so this is ground allspice that I'm putting in. Comment I get anytime I use allspice is, come on man, you didn't tell us what's in your spice mix. It's just called allspice. It is only one spice. It is the berry of the piment tree in Jamaica. Native to Jamaica, native to the Caribbean. And it's just one single berry. It happens to be called allspice because it tastes like a whole bunch of spices put together. But that's it. It's not a mix. It's just one single spice. And it is probably the most important ingredient in this marinade. And in fact, not just an important ingredient in the marinade, and we'll get to this when we get to the smoking point. There's another component also from the same shrub or tree. Next thing you absolutely have to have is fresh thyme. So I've got some sprigs of fresh thyme. I don't take the leaves off. I put everything in, the whole entire sprig. From this point on, there's a lot of commonality. There's a lot of similarity between recipes. There's a lot of really simple basic things that people put into the marinade. But that's sort of the core group. It is the core group of flavors. Now, to that, we're going to add brown sugar, cinnamon, about a thumb's worth of ginger, a couple of small onions or medium onions. We need garlic. Early summer, late spring here, our garlic isn't ready. It's not fully grown, but it is flowering. So I have a whole bunch of garlic scapes. This is the flower that grows out of the top. You have to cut it off if you want to get a big bulb of garlic on the bottom. So I cut these off as they appear. They have a very light, fragrant garlic flavor. So I've got a bunch of scapes that I just went out and cut off. Those go in, but if you have garlic, of course, put in garlic. Now we get to the liquid portion. So we need soy sauce, a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm using naturally brewed tamari. It has a bolder flavor. Vinegar, you need a couple of tablespoons of vinegar. So I'm using today an apple cider vinegar. And the same with some oil. I've got some olive oil, but any vegetable oil will do. Obviously, you want to measure those things extremely carefully. Now we need lemon, orange, and lime juice. The juice of one of each. So let's get these juiced. Lime juice. lemon juice. And orange juice. Lid on. Okay, that's good enough. Smells great. Now, you could do this in a food processor. You don't have to bring it down to this sort of liquefied consistency. In a food processor, it would give you a little bit more of a chunkier presentation, depending on what you're going to do with it. Because I'm going to marinate this chicken, I want to be able to get it everywhere, all over, all the time. So I'm looking for this more liquidy type presentation. Really, it's up to you. Now, we're going to put it on a spatchcock chicken. So we need to spatchcock a chicken. And if you've been here before, you've probably seen me do this. So this is what I do. There's a natural seam right here between the rib cage and the thigh. And I just follow the knife on both sides down through that seam. Brings me down here to the bottom where the spine is. One cut through. And that gives me the dark meat half and the white meat half. Now, on the white meat half, you'll see there is just a little bit of spine here. And I cut that out just with the knife. Really easy to do. Spine and the neck is out. Which leaves me with the white meat half. And, you know, of course you can just sort of score the breastbone a little bit and peel it open like that just to make it go flat, if that's your thing. And just pour on the marinade and rub it in and all over. Get it everywhere. Now, I've only used about half of the marinade. Keep in the fridge in a sealed container for a few weeks. I'm also going to use some of that at the end of the cooking just to baste it on a little bit and add some of that flavor. Of course, you can marinate inside a plastic bag if that's your thing. I don't really do that. So this is going to go in the fridge for a couple of hours. 5-6 hours is ideal. An hour, if you've only got an hour, works out just fine as well. So into the fridge. Get my hands clean, get the smoker set up, and we'll bring this out to the smoker. Okay, so I've let the chicken marinate for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours at this point. I've got the Yoder smoker heated up to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm using just a blend of pellets. If you wanted to be ultra traditional, ultra authentic, you would be smoking this over or cooking this over pimiento wood or pimento wood. That is the tree that grows the allspice berry. And so you sort of, with the smoke, you bring that flavor together and really, really make it one. But unfortunately, there is currently no one legally bringing that wood into Canada. Mostly because of the way it needs to be double heat treated to kill off a pest that would or could get into the Canadian forest system and kill off the trees that, you know, keep our economy going. So, on we go. 275 degrees, and we'll cook that until it's cooked. Okay, jerk chicken. Now,
Woo!
stuck to the grill.
Hey, friends.
Stuck to the grill a little bit, but that's okay because I like the skin.
But you had a pretty adventurous day planned. Looks like it worked out okay.
So far, let's see. Let's cut this. Let's start with the white meat. Although, since the skin's already come off.
I'm surprised you just didn't throw that in your mouth.
I know, I know.
I'm impressed. Good for you, Glenn. Nice restraint.
We'll get that leg off. Oh, it's just falling apart. Look at that. It's just...
Okay, I guess that's the piece to try then.
Yeah.
It's just...
There you go. There's a piece of leg for
Thank
you. Chop up a little bit of the skin, because I'm gonna have that piece.
It's very good, but it has all of those lovely flavors of jerk in it.
This is a flavorful jerk sauce, not a smack you about the face hot jerk sauce.
Is it the allspice? What? Yeah, it's the allspice that. Sorry, here I am going for a second piece.
So, other additions that you often see in jerk that I didn't put in: nutmeg, cloves, black pepper. I didn't put any black pepper in. And sometimes you see coriander. I didn't put that in, so you can sort of mold this into what you're looking for.
I feel like jerk sauce, like everything else,
Yeah.
is based on whatever your family did and whatever you're used to.
Yes,
Right?
completely.
There's so many variations of it.
Completely. I put in 1 Scotch bonnet, put in 5 if you want, if you really want that heat. Or put in 1 Scotch bonnet and then some other peppers that are flavorful but not necessarily as hot, and sort of bring that flavor around. It's a great starting place. And I really like smoked chicken. So there we go. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.